Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. It is Tuesday, the 25th of August. 5 days left in the month. We made it. We're almost to the end of the month, and this project has hardly moved forward an ounce, even barely an inch. My other project, which I'm not making videos for at the moment because I'm doing a platform upgrade, is flying forward. And this one is just barely crawling forward. Let's see how that works out over time. So I find that it very much helps to have a narrative. The narrative is quite often wrong, yeah, but like a narrative sort of gives me a way to sort of get rolling. And the narrative I have right now is that what just happened is, or like when I go over here to this, and all of these, there was let me see, inspect console. So a whole bunch of different objects get created, right? So like if I go over here now, all those objects get, all the viz objects get destroyed and they get recreated. And then as this visualization, custom visualization layout comes up, it calls a function that then goes and passes both of these to it, and then that does the proper assignments. And so right now we have two renderers, and we have this one. This renderer at number 11 is spot number 11, and it has a render ID of 11. And if we come down here, we have another. Sorry, that doesn't seem right though at all. Or I'm looking. Oh, it has a. Look at the right thing. It's got a scene ID, a camera ID. Why did I? Okay, must not be. Oh, it's a visualization. Visualization and render, I don't know, those two concepts get like sort of joined in my head. All right, so this visualization has a viz component ID of 21, and then this visualization has a viz component ID of 22. And so this is 21 and 22. So that's great. And then I go over here, both of those 21 and 22 are destroyed, and now a new probably 21 and 22 get created. And that's great. And it happens as this thing's coming up. Well, I did not think, I think when I built this out, so this is a part of my story, my narrative that um, I'm not too particularly sure of this, but I think what happened, and there's no way to prove it unless we were to go back and watch the old videos, but I believe what happens is you click in here, and my idea was, well, I don't need I don't need to make that connection because there's only one here and we only want to display it this way. But then at some point I decided, wait, no, I want to display it in configured. And it's like, oh, okay, this is great, blah, 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 blah. Got it to do the right size, but wait a second. It isn't laying out in the right spot, right? So we know that the left should be 200, but it's sitting at 0. That's what we have right here. And then, if we go look at our data that we have up here, we see that our visualization has a component ID of -1. It should have a component ID of this visualization, because this is the second visualization, should have a component ID of, what is it? 9. But this visualization, since we're not even displaying it, should have a component ID of -1. So that's where we want to get. And so I believe what happens is when these come up, these different layouts come up, we make this call here. And basically we set up the DOM visualizations. And apparently not only do we set up the DOM visualizations, but we also um, assign the visualization to um, the component, the viz component to the visualization. That happens right here. So that's good. I mean, that's great. The only problem is that, and oh, and so we made pretty good layout progress on this yesterday uh, by creating this call. The problem is I don't have the visualization items, so now I need to go back over here and figure out. So it is visualization items, but in the context of up app layout, there's only one item at this time. In the future, there may be more than one, though. I could imagine a scenario where I want to be able to edit two of them at one time or something like that. So I don't want to like purposely paint myself in the box. Wow, that was weird. Purposely paint myself into a corner. Um, so um, so we want visualization items. So how do we get our visualization items? So I believe the visualization items is probably like a component at child, something like that. You know, something that gets, yeah, view children. So this is all view children, and it's looking for all biz components, which is weird, right? Like there's so much going on this line of code, and um, it's kind of hard, but so we create, and there's so many concepts in there. Like there's a decorator concept. There's the actual view children, what that function does. There's the argument, right? So this is a decorator. So it's saying, hey, do something to this, and this is the function that I want you to do to this. And we're going to pass you this thing, and then you're going to do something for it. And by the way, we have this argument called visualization item. And visualization item um, is probably the name of whatever is on the screen that we're trying to get. Yeah, visualization item. So that is an important thing to know is that we are actually doing it in the custom layout, so, or in that. So actually, I'm wondering if we are naming the app viz over there. We probably want to name it visualization item. That's a perfectly fine name. So now let's go to app update layout. And so, and okay, again, like so much of what I do, I will normally do like subconsciously. So that's the reason that's probably the biggest reason that I'm doing this is that to get this more conscience. So we want this visualization item. But see, this one's different because we broke out the viewer into its own thing. So I thinking that this is where our see, this is where our visualization item would exist. So that kind of breaks the whole darn pattern, right? The whole darn pattern is, hey, when the layout gets rendered, then go find all, well, oh yeah, go find all these app vizzes, and these app vizzes are inside of the editor itself. But in this situation, it's actually inside of a viewer. So we just found sort of a problem in that this is where we'll know. This is the point. The one thing that like all the rest of the systems, they just cannot figure out what's going on in the component, if the components exist or not. And in these cases, in the custom layout and in the tabular layout, in those two layouts, the layout knows, right? So we come over here and the layout knows when this is done. But in this specific situation, the layout doesn't know. It's the viewer that knows when this thing exists, which changes everything, right? So, and I'm not, so what the thing that the battle that's going on in my head right now is like, so do we move the whole functionality of writing and updating to this layout viewer, which only has one, or do we still do it up higher? And what's really annoying about this is literally all this does is show this layout. I don't even think there's probably anything in here. Yeah. So there's not even any logic in here. It just has access to these things. But it does feel like this is going to be the place where this should have to happen. The only problem is I'm like, there's a very, very strong possibility that this will break in the future. Like, I think it'll probably work just fine. I'll just send the array from here and it'll work just fine. But if I ever have two, then I'll be sending two different arrays, and I don't know what that'll do. Um, but again, that's one of those I hope we'll figure it out when the time comes. Um, it'll be so much easier to figure out how to deal with that when the actual problem is in front of us, as opposed to trying to predict the problem and then predict a solution for the predicted problem. Um, all right, so it looks like I think this is where. So now we are, boom, 4 to-dos in, right? It's so weird that I can't, that it doesn't show up in here in this lookup. It's not even letting me type. Notepad. There we go. So there's 4 of these things, right? So we are 4 levels deep in, like, we got distracted because we're trying to show this left and right and all that. And the thing is over at one notepad, I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up needing to delete all of that. That um, I think this is where need to um register the viz components. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, 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 back. And so I don't know. They again, a lot of the things that I'm doing here are very like things that I do that I don't realize I do. So now we're back over here. This is, oh no, this is cap custom layout. Let's keep going. What we're trying to do is in app layout. So I'm watching this. Okay, so there's this guy right here. So now I want to copy this whole darn thing. And I don't even know if we have access to the visualization service from here. We shouldn't be a problem though. So we are in the viewer. And while I'm here, I'm going to delete these unit tests. And I'm going to work on my personal self-control and not go on to some kind of very bizarre rant. Sometimes you're just sort of a zombie. You become a zombie. You get fixated on some kind of idea, and then next thing you know, like you're just like desperately trying to defend the idea, especially if you come to the conclusion that the idea is wrong. Okay, so we do not have a visualization service. We neither have a visualization service, and we do not have viz items. So the visualization service is here, and I can't remember if when we add the visual, like if we need this visual, did we just bring it in for this? Because if we just brought it in for this, I probably should remove it. It doesn't really hurt anything, but it can be like it can lead to a lot of confusion. And okay, so that's 4. Doesn't look like we ever use it. All right, so I'm getting rid of this right here. If we are using it, it should become very obvious very quickly that I deleted something I shouldn't have deleted. And that paste probably won't work. I probably need to go a little bit farther. Yeah, okay. So, oh wait, never mind. On line 38. Oh, Line 38, all we do is inject it. Okay, so we were not using it, so I removed it. Should be pretty easy to remember. I don't think this import's going to work as is. I think I need to be one more deeper. One more deeper, because we're higher up on the folder structure. Um, that's one of those things that, like, for some reason, it's just really, really hard to kind of wrap your mind around until you do it. And then, like, until you kind of sit down and figure all that out. And then once you figure it out, that's one of those really good examples. These imports, that goes from like being absolutely impossible to just like, I don't understand why it's not obvious. Um, let's see. And then we want to do like our inject. I don't know why I'm not going to do, I'm just going to do that for memory. See, that's a perfect example of something that I probably would have done in memory. Like, I'm sorry. That's something that, like, it helps me to get smarter if I copy this and actually go through the process, right? So do we even have the inject? Yeah, we have inject already. Oh yeah, because we're using it right there. Um, so this is a singleton. So I'm going to put it with my other singleton. And I'm going to say boom. And then I guess I should have just done this. Boom equals inject. And this is, I'm just kind of doing a pattern that I'm doing. I'm basically investing in this process because I believe it's going to be more valuable. Okay, so then the other thing we need is our query visualization items. So that we also saw that we could get that in app layout and app custom components. And the way we do this, and now this one, I don't know. Don't I don't do it often enough for it to be worth sort of, for me, it's hard to memorize things, I guess, at this point. So the cost benefit analysis for memorizing something like that isn't there. But I will say that I think it, I think if I did some specific things, I could probably make it to where the cost benefit is worth memorizing things. Because memorizing lots of things, if you've configured your brain properly, can be fairly simple. Okay, so that definitely needs to come from Angular core. That makes sense to me. And then this one also. And then let's go up here, and it's good because we're already doing it that way. All right, so I think we can use this now. Oh, wait, sorry. Okay, I think this needs to be after view init. And this is something I do enough. I think it's implements, and then after view init. And I just want to double check that that is the right one. Mm. Oh no, over here it's in an effect. And basically I'm saying st render should be empty unless we're in custom view. Okay, so that's for this one. Um, get renders, set timeout. Oh, okay, so this waits for the route to be correct. But so this one's different because this one exists. This layout exists, period. But I don't think, let's go back over here. App update HTML, app update viewer, app is really, so we have an app is layout, period. So I was thinking that there was like some logic in here that prevented this layout viewer from showing up unless it was there. But now it's become very clear that that is not the case, that this is always here. It just either has something in it or it doesn't. So let's go back over here. So I think after view of init is the right place to no, that's not going to be because it's always there. So this actually isn't going to be the right way to do this. We need to do it in an effect. And basically, because, all right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to look over here because I think my narrative just got screwed up. Add view. Okay, so I'm going to inspect here. And I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click on this. And then, see, here's our app layout, custom layout. And then we've got our app update layout. See, it exists already. And then what I'm wondering about is the view, is the, so here's the visualization. And see, I needed to separate these out because the logic in these things could probably get pretty complicated. So app layout viewer. Yeah, so, okay, so in here, there is no, so if I go here, update. Okay, now we have an app viz. Now when I leave, okay, the app viz is gone. Okay, what causes that app viz to come in and go out like that? I don't know. Oh, there we go. It is. It is. There is logic. Okay, so this guy should not be, unless this exists, it should, that whole thing should get called. So it's basically if renderer ID is greater than 0. Now, its render ID, I'm assuming, comes in. How does it know the renderer ID? It gets it straight from the service. Okay, so that means we need an effect. Because basically, an effect. And then do something. So basically, the problem is that the renderer, this only gets created when there's a renderer, an edit ID. The only place we know that is in this over here. Okay, for edit ID greater than 0, and then register the component is component for the, what is it? It's not a renderer, right? Is it a renderer? I don't remember. Let's go source control goes in the, oh, for the visualization. ST visualization. So this is a perfect example of visualization of a side effect, right? So we're having this side effect that as calling that this function over here as a side effect ends up registering it as a with the ST visualization side effect alert. You really, it's so much better if you don't have these side effects. But they always creep in, and sometimes unwinding them is almost impossible. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.